So one of the most famous quotes from Rebbe Nachman, there's a whole sheet of quotes over here. One of the most famous quotes, Mitzvah Gadol Liyus B'Simcha Tamid. It's a big mitzvah to always be happy, right? In fact, this quote is so famous that I've heard people quote it as a folk saying. One of the famous lecturers around nowadays, I heard him say that. Anyway, it's not a folk saying, Rebbe Nachman said it. But the people have questions on this saying. The first question you usually get is, which one of the 613 mitzvahs is it? Where's the Rambam say it's a mitzvah to be b'simcha? And the other question people usually ask is, if it's a mitzvah to be b'simcha always, what do you mean? What about Tisha B'Av? What about Avelos? You know? So, we know there's 6 mitzvahs tamidiyos. There's 6 constant mitzvahs that a person has to do. I brought down in Bir Lacha, right at the beginning of the Mishnah Berurah over there, at the beginning of our time, 6 mitzvahs. I can never remember all 6 of them. It's the mitzvah to believe in Hashem, to believe in Hashem's yichud, in Hashem's unity, the mitzvah to love Hashem, the mitzvah to fear Hashem, is a mitzvah not to stray after our eyes and hearts, to do averos, not to be seduced by the Yetzer Hara, and there's another one I always forget. I cannot remember. But anyway, basically, a lot of these mitzvahs fall under we'll call them Emunah. To be conscious of Hashem's presence and the emotions that should arouse Ava and Yira. To be conscious Hashem is always with us and Hashem is always doing good to us. So, we also know that every single mitzvah, so we're always supposed to be involved in a mitzvah, constantly. Our entire life, we're involved in a mitzvah, consciousness of Hashem. Part of every mitzvah, a mitzvah is not just made up of details of how to accomplish a mitzvah, but actually part of a detail of each mitzvah that we have to accomplish is to do the mitzvah with simcha. For example, the mitzvah of tefillin, there's details of the box has to be black and shaped just so, and the parts are written just so. Another detail of the mitzvah of tefillin is that we have to do the mitzvah with simcha. It's a detail of the mitzvah. As we know, it says, Ivdu es Hashem, bis simcha, serve Hashem with simcha, which means do the mitzvahs with simcha. It's part of the mitzvahs. It also says, Tachas Hashem levatis Hashem b'simcha v'tov leivat. The clothes come upon us because we didn't serve Hashem with simcha. So part of every mitzvah is simcha. The Rizal stated that he only attained his level, his incredibly high level, because he did the mitzvahs with simcha. He did that part of every mitzvah, simcha. So it comes out that at every moment of our life, we're serving Hashem, we're involved in a mitzvah, we're involved in being conscious of Hashem with us, that's called Emunah, being conscious of Hashem's unity, being conscious that we love Hashem, we fear Hashem. These are all mitzvahs, which means that mitzvah of being conscious of Hashem, being with us all the time, has to be done b'simcha, which means we have to be b'simcha constantly, 24 hours, 7 days a week, our entire life, including Tisha B'Av, including Avelos. Just at those times, we have to act in a certain way. We have to act in a certain way of sadness. But it doesn't mean that inside we're constantly aware of Hashem's presence, and that part of us inside has to be b'simcha constantly because we're doing the mitzvah of Emunah. And in fact, we have to do one of the rabbis once, once said on Tisha B'Av, the Avelos of Tisha B'Av is a mitzvah, so you have to do that mitzvah b'simcha also. Fine. So Avelos of Tisha B'Av is. All sadness stems from the fact that we don't see Hashem revealed in the world. Hashem is not openly revealed, or Hashem is hidden. But the fact that Hashem does exist in the world, the fact that there is Hashem, Hashem is with us, fills us with simcha, even at the same time that we're sad that it's not revealed to everybody. So the mitzvah to be b'simcha tamid is connected to this. But what comes down also from this, if you think about it, is that it's not just that there's a mitzvah we do mitzvahs, and now we have to do the mitzvah with simcha. But the fact, how can a person be with simcha always? How can we always be happy? By being aware that Hashem exists, Hashem is always with us. Everything Hashem does is hakol l'tovah. Everything Hashem does is for our own good. And even when you're in a bad situation, you have that faith in Hashem, and you're happy because of it. So it combines, it's all one. It's not separate things. It's not an external thing. It's all one. I live with the consciousness of Hashem. I'm happy because I have that consciousness. And I'm conscious because I have the happiness. Because I'm happy and because I recognize that, I'm able to be more and more aware of Hashem. It's one hand washes the other. One helps the other. So it comes out is is that mitzvah gedol lias b'simcha tamid is very clear. It's not a migdal pareach ba'aver. It's not a tower flying in the air. It's something which is very grounded. This Rebbe Nachman is bringing that out to teach us. And then there are times, and what he points out, the mitzvah to be b'simcha always sometimes entails us when we don't have faith in Hashem, we don't see Hashem so clearly. So what we have to do is, we have to sometimes even do superficial things that put a smile on our face and open us up. And then, when we're open and we're b'dicha daite, our minds are clearing up a little, and we remember that Hashem is there, and then we have faith again, and we come back to the true simcha, which is the simcha of Emunah, the simcha of consciousness of Hashem with us always.